Mama Pipanidisha Priya Charanakim Kuriam Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tvayovino Itvidyayate Tam Naimam Charanatipam Yatkim Kurishu Bahusa Kaluka Kavani Nityapurasha Purusha Shakandamuni Tashakara Rasanidi Visabhanu Jastakili Kunja Bhavanangana Manjari Jama Vajami Radha Ravinda Nitram Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasham Padamira Karuna Parajam Tato Nasti Nagati Pakita Vihina Parada Shakshita Sata Mari Taranga Bhaji Shubhamai Tvam Sharanam Prabhana Vinde Namaste Charana Vindam Samsara Sagri Gauri Vitamam Saranam Vatam Savibhyo Pivini Muktam Radha Guru Shri Shri Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripashinuveva Pakitanaha Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Arati Sri Ramayana Ki Karita Kalit Lalit Siyapi Ki Gavata Brahmadik Muni Narada Valmiki Vigyan Visharada. So before we get started today, today is a very auspicious day, obviously. Today is the Avirbhav Mahotsav of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. So as is proper etiquette to approach any kind of katha about Sri Bhagavan, it's necessary to first glorify and get the mercy and shelter of the pure devotees. So Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj has done a great kripa and service to so many Vaishnavas because he himself, just as our Pujapat Nityalila Krishna Vishnupat Srila Bhakti began Bhakti Goswami Maharaj also did. They wrote about the lives and histories of many contemporary Vaishnavas. We didn't have all of that information compiled about many of the disciples of Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, and then many of the second generation of the disciples of Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur. So these two very stalwart Vaishnavas, they compiled books, our holy masters, and the Parasad book of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, which gives us a chance on every appearance day and disappearance day to be able to read about the charit or glories of these very pure Vaishnavas, especially now when so many of these stalwart Vaishnavas are no longer giving darshan on this planet. Well, I shouldn't say not giving darshan, but they are not available to our physical presence. Then hearing their glories is that much more important, because we know that whenever the pure Vaishnava enters into samadhi, it doesn't mean that they've died. It means they've obtained, or not obtained, but they've manifested for us the state of samadhi. Samadhi means, sama means equal, and D means that their consciousness, because D means their intelligence. There's so many meanings, but D here means they're completely absorbed now in one state. Normally, whenever the pure devotees are present, they're present in three states of consciousness. One state is to benefactor all the living entities. That state is called Bahir Dasa. Bahir Dasa means they're available to talk to you, pet you on the head, smack you in the face, pull your ear, whatever is necessary to get you to advance in Krishna consciousness. Another state is called Ard Bahir Dasa. Ard Bahir Dasa means that sometimes they are absorbed in their own internal Rup, Swarup, and at the same time they may be externally available. Like when they're giving Harikatha, they're simultaneously internally absorbed and externally they're speaking to an audience. And then sometimes they're in Antardasa. Srila Gurudev once told a story, no, actually not Gurudev, but Savita Devi told a story that she used to go regularly over to Keshavji Gaudiya Math, and sometimes Gurudev would chant japa on the roof of Keshavji Gaudiya Math. There one day she went and Gurudev was sitting on the rooftop and he was chanting, and his eyes were very, very closed, and his lips were moving very not like, Hare Krishna, Krishna, very small. His lips were moving. So she said she could tell by that he was having obviously some deep absorption, but she said she didn't think not to disturb it. So she waited for some time, and then Gurudev kind of gently opened his eyes, but then closed them again. And she said, "Oh, Gurudev, what are you tasting?" So it's a nice way to introduce. You don't just come and ask about some other things. And Savitri Didi is very high class of devotee herself. So she asked, "Oh, Gurudev, what are you tasting?" And then Gurudev he opened his eyes a little bit and smiled, and he didn't answer. Because what will you say? Because what you're tasting and what you can tell what you're tasting is two different things, right? So just like there's some dishes that people prepare. My wife is a very, very good cook, and sometimes she may make something how I will describe what it tastes like, right? You have to experience yourself, right? You can say it was part sweet, part this, that, this, but your own experience is the best indicator of what it's like. So by realization only, you can know what is what the Srila Gurudev Teacher. Actually, Narottam Das Thakur has written, what is that verse? Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vijnanena Bhujjaya. So Bhujjaya means to enter. So you cannot enter into what is the realization of high class of Vaishnavas unless they give their kripa, and then by that mercy you can enter. So by the grace of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, we get glimpses into their lives, and we can have some association via that means. So Adi Govind Prabhu, can you see all right and everything? Okay, is there other microphone there?
His Holiness Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Maharaj was born in 1924 in Assam, India, on Ram Navami, the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. Having been brought up in a pious environment, he developed a strong inclination to search for truth, which led him to take up the study of philosophy at Calcutta University. After completing his MA in philosophy in 1947, he came in contact with his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Dayita Madhava Goswami Maharaj, and immediately became attracted by his divine and powerful personality. Srila Madhava Maharaj was one of the foremost followers of the illustrious preceptor of the pure devotional school of Bhakti Yoga, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. From that time onward, Srila Tirtha Maharaj completely dedicated his life to the service of his Guru. Soon he became secretary of the devotional institution, Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, which has over 20 ashrams in India alone. As one of Madhava Maharaj's first sannyas disciples, he took the vow of renunciation in 1961. After the disappearance of Srila Madhava Goswami Maharaj in 1979, Srila Tirtha Maharaj was appointed his successor as Acharya of the Math. During his lifetime, he received the blessings and intimate association of many of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's prominent followers, such as Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Hriday Bon Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, and Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, and many others. For the last 5 decades, Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj has been engaged in preaching the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to counter the modern trend toward violence and cruelty, and to bring about unity in hearts among all, irrespective of race, creed, or religion. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had requested Srila Tirtha Maharaj to accompany him to the USA just prior to his launching of the Krishna consciousness movement in the West in 1965. As he was engaged in the service of his Gurudev as secretary of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math at that time, Srila Tirtha Maharaj humbly declined. Since 1997, however, at the request of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, he has been traveling the globe several months a year, enlivening all who come in contact with his humble, sweet personality, extraordinary kirtan, and message of divine love. To date, his preaching travels outside India have taken him around the world, including the UK, Holland, France, Spain, Italy, Austria, Germany, Slovenia, Russia, the Ukraine, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hawaii, and throughout the continental US. Everyone is attracted by his eloquent, insightful, and most of all, purely devotional discourses. During his U.S. tour in 1997, His Holiness Srila Tirtha Maharaj addressed the United Nations, World Peace Prayer Society, and World Conference on Religion and Peace in New York City, offering them a succinct outline for world peace based upon the spiritual tenets of the ancient Vedas. His preaching programs over the past years have also included many interesting dialogues with prominent Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Hindu, and Baha'i theologians in such diverse settings as universities, interfaith groups, churches, Hindu temples, and a wide variety of metaphysical and private educational centers. All are invariably won over by his gentle and affectionate nature, combined with his resolute faith in Guru, Vaishnav, and Bhagavan. He has also spoken on the sublime teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on many radio and television programs, including a thought-provoking interview on BBC Radio in 2000, which was broadcast worldwide. In addition to his role as Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, Srila Bhakti-Vallabha Tirtha Goswami serves as the Acharya of Gokul, which stands for Global Organization of Krishna Chaitanya's Universal Love, which he founded in 1997. He has also served as Vice President of the World Vaishnava Association. Working 18 hours a day, he is incessantly engaged in the service of humanity as a teacher of Vedic wisdom and the philosophy of Bhakti Yoga. He is presently engaged in writing articles and books to his native languages as well as in English. To date, his English publications include the books Shuddha Bhakti, Sages of Ancient India, A Taste of Transcendence, and Sri Chaitanya, His Life and Associates, of which I'm reading from right now. That's the conclusion of his biology in this book, Sri Chaitanya, His Life and Associates.
Conclusion of his biology. But his biography,
excuse me.
You want to make an announcement? It appears to be a lot of improperly parked cars.
So if there's any cars which are not on appropriate spaces or inappropriate places, go ahead and please put them either on the street at the end of the block here, or you can put them down by the Electoral Farm and Lumber, which right across the street there, you can park anywhere there. And there may be one space on the back still available. But it's kind of important to do that in order to keep the relationship of the city and the temple.
No parking on the grass.
Yeah, you can't park on the grass.
Okay, the only good spots are the 4 spots right here on the cement. It's actually like less than a 1-minute walk to the road there, and there's plenty of parking.
I was told we can park. I've heard a different thing.
No, you can only park on the 4 cement spots. We have an angry neighbor 2 blocks down who likes to take pictures of us and report us.
One's the one said I could park right there.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Of course, also today is Sri Ram Navami.
Yes, you know.
Jai Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki Jai. So there's no possibility. Normally, the Ramayana is sometimes spoken in 9 days. It's called Ram Parayana. And devotees will take 9 days and they'll speak the Ramayana in different sections. There's 7 cantos in Ramayana. We'll get to that in a minute. And they take over 9 days. They get a chance to speak that. While I was preaching in Africa many years ago, in fact, in Zambia, we had a small preaching center right next to the Hindu community temple. In fact, that place was given to us by the Indian community there. And every so often, because he's pretty famous and travels worldwide, but they had one gentleman come, one sadhu, let's just say sadhu, and Murari Bapu. Has anybody ever heard his name before? Murari Bapu? He speaks Ramayana in 9 days, as most sadhus who speak Ramayana do. But during those 9 days, he only takes a little milk and 1 or 2 chapatis. That's his standard. I had heard about him when I was traveling in India before, but had never heard him speak. And he speaks in a language called Bhojpuri, which is a mixture of like Hindi and Gujarati, some kind of mixture. I don't understand Bhojpuri. I don't understand Hindi super well, and I don't understand Gujarati at all. So, but they asked that the devotees would do kirtan to open the ceremonies of his katha. So we had all the devotees in the temple gather when he arrived at the street where he was staying, which is right at the beginning of the block where the temple and the facilities were. It's a temple, it's not a huge temple, the Hindu temple there, and then there's a huge field and some parking and all of that. So not only people from Zambia, all over Zambia, we were in the northern part, but people also from neighboring countries would come. So this was the first time I saw a crowd of about 8, 9, could be up to 10,000 people had come. And in India, up to 150,000 people come to hear him speak Ramayana. Right? So we did kirtan and we brought him to the place of his residence. They greeted him, the people who were hosting. They did the appropriate greeting for sadhu. They did foot bathing, everything. Greeted him. They had us do more kirtan. And he seemed to be very, very pleased with the kirtan and everything. And then he blessed us that we would be able to come and sit on the stage where the Ramayana would be performed. So obviously it would go on very late at night. So we elected to go. Right, like in India, so you're not going to not hear it. But the amazing thing is he travels with a small entourage, and the entourage is composed of several musicians. So while he's doing Ramayana, each section they come to, they play the appropriate rag and raginis to that section of Ramayana. So literally just by his speaking and the music alone, then the audience would go through all of the emotional content of the Ramayana. So it was pretty far out. And the Stav and Stuti that I sang in the beginning was the arati for the worship of Ramayana that's done at the end of each night's katha. And I thought it was one of the most beautiful songs that I'd ever heard. Every night they would sing it. And that would be kind of the last thing I heard before I would go to sleep. Each night for those 9 nights, and it made a distinct impression on me, that thing, even though I didn't understand his katha very well, but by the grace of Srila Gurudev, who also grew up so much listening to Ram Katha, right? Because especially in northern part of India, the Ramacharitmanas of, who knows who wrote Ramacharitmanas? Ramacharitmanas is written by Tulsidas, a very famous writer of Ramayana. In the Ramacharitmanas of Tulsidas, he only writes up to the section of the return of Ram and Sita to Ayodhya. In fact, there are thousands of Ramayans. The Mool Ramayana, the original Ramayana, is written by whom? Valmiki. Yes, that's what it says. Valmiki Vigyan. The Vigyani, the realized person Valmiki, he wrote the Ramayana. I'll tell how it was written shortly. But there are thousands of copies of Ramayana all over the world, not just in India. Like I remember once Gurudev told a story, right, about how Ram was cursed to be banished to the forest. And Gurudev tells a story that when Ram was a very young boy, maybe 2 years old, 3 years old, at that time, Kaikeyi, Kosali, and Sumitra, they did not make any distinction whose son is who. Each thought, I have 4 sons. Nobody made any distinction, this is your sons, these are my sons. So Kaikeyi was especially affectionate to Ram. So once while being out and walking with Ram, then Ram begged to Kaikeyi, even as a small boy, "Oh mother, I'm begging you for one favor, one thing I want to ask you." And when Kaikeyi responded, "What is it? What is it? I will give you anything." And then she started to very poetically describe, if we were walking at night, I would give you the moon. Walking in the sun, where Hanuman and others failed to get the sun, I would give you the sun. If you wanted the 7 oceans, I would also gather them, and I would make them in such a way that they would fit in your hand. Very beautifully. There's so many different Ramayans, Baba Bhuti's Ramayana, so many different ones. They all have beautiful poetry. So she described like that. I would give all 7 and put in your hand for you to play with. So he said, no, I'm only asking one favor in 2 parts. So Gurudev said, she says, tell me, anything I'll grant you. So then Ram said, when I become of age to become the king, because I will become the king, you promised me two things. One, you will banish me to the forest for 14 years, and that you will make Bart the king. So, first of all, the first shock of Kaikeyi is that he's only 2 or 3 years old. What he will know about becoming the king, and then furthermore, why the complication of banish me, make Bharat, the younger brother, the king, she didn't comprehend. Kaikeyi also herself young, right? She didn't understand what do you mean? So Kaikeyi, to appease Ram, with no intention of ever carrying this out, told, yes, certainly, whatever you ask I will do. But she did it only as appeasement. But my point here is that if you look in Valmiki Ramayana, 24,000 verses, you will not find this story. So in Houston, I've not read 24,000 verses of Ramayana, but I know in even the small compilations of it, this story is not this. Ask Gurudev, where is this told? I don't see it in Valmiki Ramayana. He says, oh, it's in Dakshin Ramayana. So I know Dakshin means South India, right? So I said, South India Ramayana, right? So then I started researching. There's South India Ramayana, Baba Bhuti Commentary Ramayana, thousands of copies of Ramayana, and they all have little unique takes on Ramayana. Right? Even in Indonesia, there's Ramayans. Mahabharata is similar. Like in Mahabharata, right, there are 125,000 verses, right? And Mahabharata has also been copied by others. Now, in the Skanda Purana, I'm sorry I'm jumping all over the place, but in Skanda Purana, the story of Jagannath is told. But where does the story of Jagannath begin in Skanda Purana? Gurudev is copied in his Origins of Rath Yatra book. Where does the story begin? It begins with the inquiry of Maharaj Prataparudra after hearing about the beauty of a deity called Nilamadava. This is where it starts. It's called Purushottam Mahatmya, section of Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana has so many things in it. We'll talk a lot of things from Skanda Purana here today. But it begins with that section. Question is, where is it written? Where did the deity of Nilamadava come from? Where is that written? So if you go into Orissa, there was a great poet in Orissa named Sarala Das. He's written the Mahabharata with the history of that area of Orissa, and in there he put the story of Nilamadava. You understand? So there's many Mahabharats also written. You have to distinguish what Mahabharata, what Ramayana you read according to who is a devotee or not a devotee. There are many people who've written Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita commentary, or Ramayana, but they're not devotees. And they're writing according to their understanding and conception. Remember before we spoke that in any Shastra there are 5 levels of understanding. Samanya Katha, right? Guya Katha, Guyatar Katha, Guyatam Katha, and Savaguyatam Katha. So every Shastra has these levels of understanding. So in particularly in Mahabharata and Ramayana, there are thousands of copies of each of them. Right? Among all the Vedic Shastras, they are called Itihasa. Iti aha sa. Itihasa means as it was told. This is the meaning in Sanskrit of Itihasa. It means as it was told. That means it's actual direct history. Like in the Puranas, Purna Api Navam. Purna Api Navam means it's talking ancient histories, but they're relevant to today. So it's almost like I've given an example. If there is a court case, and you see lawyers come to court, when I used to work in my old profession, I used to have to go to court a lot, and I would see lawyers come in, and when the lawyers come in, they usually have their briefcase. In their briefcase, they will have all of the relevant case law appropriate to that case. But is it chronological? No. Right? In other words, to prove the point of guilt or innocence of somebody, they may quote something from 10 years ago or 2 years ago. So the Puranas are like that. They're ancient stories told basically to prove a point. Like for instance in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many narrations told. Bhagavatam is not written chronologically. What is all of the different points being made in Bhagavatam? What does it want to prove? Gurudev has told many times. What does Srimad Bhagavatam want to prove? Yes, Arajo Bhagavan Rajesha, Tanaya Tadhamana Vrindavana. It wants to prove the supremacy of the prem of Radhika, and that the ultimate goal of life is Radhadasyam. Radhadasyam here doesn't mean every single person reading Srimad Bhagavatam will come to the conclusion, I want to have Manjari Bhav. It doesn't mean that. Radhadasyam means it will understand that everything, everyone in Braj, including Shri Krishna Bhagavan, is serving Srimati Radhika. That's the point. This will be the conclusion. To make that conclusion clear, Vyasadeva wrote the last slok of Srimad Bhagavatam, Nama Sankirtaniyasa Sava Papa Pranasanam. That in the coming incarnation, one incarnation will be there which has the capacity in his dharma to do Sava Pap Pranasanam. So the prefix Pranasanam, pra means prakashrupein, right? Means completely. So here he's saying that the next incarnation coming, which will be Gauranga Mahaprabhu, has the power by Sankirtan, Yajna, to completely destroy all sins, which are the manifestations of not only sin, but what causes aparad and everything else, that can completely be destroyed by Harinam Sankirtan, and you can realize even up to Radhadasyam. You understand? This was the meaning here of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So Bhagavatam was meant to show and what ultimately is Radhadasyam. In Sri Ramayana, which is Itihasa, it is actually chronological, it was written also to prove a point. But how will you realize the point that's written? Ramayana is written, how many verses are there in Ramayana? Huh? I'm hearing different numbers. How many?
24. You said it earlier. 24,000.
Did I say it right? 24,000 verses in Ramayana. So, and Valmiki wrote Ramayana. Does anybody know the history of Valmiki? History of Valmiki. Even before that, and they were speaking Harikatha, Harohit being a little boy, he was fascinated by hearing the sounds of animals. So he began cooing making peacock sounds, bird sounds, etc. While the four Kumars are speaking Harikatha in the Assembly of Varuna Day. So like nowadays, if any young children come to a lecture, you cannot say, okay, take your kid outside, because parents will become offended, right? But four Kumars him a mild curse. What was that curse? Oh, since you like to make bird sounds and everything, you should associate with those who live in the forest. Therefore, he took birth next as Ratnakar. He was born to one hunter family. In the course of being hunter family, it's not a bad thing. It's by caste, everyone has their own dharma, so it's not inherently bad to be born as a hunter. But being born as a hunter, later on, he began to associate with some bad association. Those bad association were groups of hunters who, due to the shortage of being able to make a living, turned to dacoits, robbers. So he was convinced in their association, look, you have to take care of your family. Now you have a growing family, you have to take care of them. So you're not able to do that simply by hunting and trapping. You have to take up a profession that allows you to do that. We're living in a place where so many people traverse every day. So many wealthy people are coming through here. We feel it's only right that coming through our place, we are struggling. They should have compassion, right? Like nowadays, modern day politics, right? They should give. So you're not wrong if you simply take from them, right? So he became convinced like this. So Ratnakar used to do this regularly. Skanda Purana says, once Nard Rishi came along with other Saptarishis, right? Some people say only Nard came. But once, either way, whether Nard with Saptarishis or without, came that way, and Ratnakara stopped and held them captive. You should give me all of the jewels you have. How would he assess that any sadhus have jewels? What was he thinking? He wasn't. What he thought was looking at the effulgence, looking at the beauty of Srinard and Saptarishis. They must be very wealthy. Because if you look at mostly people in your environment and you're a hunter, most people are very dark, dirt is there, so many things because of the nature of their activities, their effulgence, right? The subtlety of their effulgence is very darkly colored, everything. So now you see this bright, beautiful, effulgent, manifestation of Swarup coming through the body, which is non-different, right? From Nod and these Saptarishis. Oh, they must be very wealthy. Besides that, I see that they don't carry anything. People. Most wealthy people you can't tell, right? Most will drive, you're fine. At least they have access to wealth. Other thing is thought, even to do. Whenever they go to give Harikatha anywhere, what happens? How people give them charity. Must have some wealth, and I will take that wealth from him or hold him captive here. So Nod is very intelligent. Also, Nod is Tri Kalagya, means he can see past, present, and future. So he knows what will be the future. You understand? So Nod is also having this leela. So Nod says, I'm asking, do you realize that everything in this world carries karma with it? Karma bandhana. Anybody in this world, whether it's good, bad, whatever, you have to perform some type. Because without performing yajna, simply existing in the world makes you a debtor. Community. Can you live in this world without sin? No. You cannot. Every time you breathe, you kill so many living entities. In order for your existence to go on, so many things have to. So you're but balanced by yajna. Is it takes away all debt. These things you do, and you'll be the sole person carrying the burden of all this karma. Ratnakar gave an answer immediately. No. I have a very large family. My wife, who's so loving and affectionate. My dear children, who when I come home and I bring money that I've taken, they enjoy it in so many different ways. My elderly in-laws and my own parents, they also are being well maintained by this. Certainly all looking at me with love and affection, they'll share in my karmic debt. So it will be evenly spread out and I will not have to suffer so much. So Narada Muni said, we will promise one thing. We are Satyabrat. Satyabrat means we never tell any lie. Right? We are promising that we will stay in this very place. We want you to go and to ask your family members if they will help to share in the karma that you're appearing. So Ratnakar, some faith came in his heart, right? And he went back and he began to inquire from his family. Oh, my darling wife, holding her cheek, everything I do for you, right? Famous songs. Everything I do for you, right? And she said, oh, I realize, right? There's nothing more dear to me. To any Dharma Patni. Dharma Patni means a wife. I don't know how to describe. Dharma Patni means like who has made her life Dharma her Pati. She's called Dharma Patni. Right? A wife who, because that's part of religious principles in Dharma Sastra, how you're dedicated to a husband. Many great examples in Vedic culture are there. Right? Anasuya Devi, etc. So she said, yes, I'm certainly a Dharma Patni. Right? What question do you have? She says, oh, I was told by any sadhu rishi that for all the things I do to take care of you, to provide beautiful saris, to give you the jewels which I've stolen from others, so many things, that I'll have to suffer so much karma. But I immediately told them how happily you would join me. Because in those days, if a husband passed away, what would the wife do? Something like that. She also would give up her own body in fire. So you would give up your own body in fire. What to speak of simply sharing the karma of my activities? What was the wife's reply? No. Right? In modern contemporary language, don't get it twisted. Right? For your duty, you are bound to take care of a wife and to give pleasure to a wife. This is your duty. If your body is passing away, I certainly fulfill my duty, sati, right, everything, but you're alive now. That's not the case. So what you do out of your own dharma. Your dharma is to take care of your wife and family. So no, I will not share any additional sins. I've got my own issues I'll have to deal with at the end of this life. So then he thought, maybe it is some understandable that the wife, maybe she doesn't know so much. I also don't know so much about karma and all these intricacies. So perhaps she doesn't understand, and perhaps for this reason and in fear, she's saying no. But my children love me unconditionally. They don't know so many things, but they love their father unconditionally. So asking his children, will you share in the karma that it takes for me to bring so many nice things, edibles here, to bring so many wonderful things, to provide so many playful things for you? The children said, no. No, Daddy. Our only business is to play, to eat, to sleep, and to wait for you to bring the next section of eating, sleeping, and playing. We don't know anything about karma. It's not our responsibility. Then he said, my wife, I can understand something, I rationalize. My children are too young, they cannot understand. My elderly in-laws and parents themselves, they will understand. Because they're elders and they've lived this life. They know Dharma. Right? They've lived married life success. They know Dharma. They will be able to understand. So maybe I cannot share with my wife and kids, but even if I can share with 4 other people, my in-laws and my own parents, very good. So he went and he asked also to them. And they said, son, you have to realize, though everyone has some karmic connection in this world, everyone also has their individual karma to be responsible for. So though we gave birth to you, once you establish your own family, your karma is your own karma. Right? So yeah, we do understand Dharma and we're explaining to you. And the in-laws say, what have we to do with you except through our daughter? You understand? So we have nothing to do with your karma also. Your karma is your individual karma. So then he began to think and to reflect. And in that moment realizing that actually, even though we maintain so much attachment to family, society, friends, so many things, who are we in this world with actually? Ourselves. When you came into the world, even if you had a twin brother or sister, how did you come in? Did you come in alone? You didn't come in. Sometimes people joined at the body, some unusual thing, but each atma is different. So you come in alone. When you leave, and nowadays also a wife not leaving with you. You understand? They may lament, true, but not giving fire nowadays, right? Not happening, right? They may burn up, they do a heartbreak, so many different things, but not doing any fire. Right? So, like this, you come alone and you also leave alone. So this realization, this mati, it came into Ratnakara. Right in Madhurya Kandamani Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says one thing. Sava Sangamena Ratnya Anko Rupa Eva Mati Jayati. Mati has many definitions in Sanskrit. One definition is inclination, intelligence, discrimination. Right? So mati is what comes as the result of doing sadhu sangha. When you do sadhu sangha, suddenly a discrimination comes. What is this? Why am I spending so much time absorbed in this world? What is my wife, children, family, society, friendship, and love? What is my money, bank balance, so many things, blah, 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 blah. What is the meaning? All of this is called mati. You understand? Now the intelligence, discrimination is start considering what else is there to life besides material life. By the association of Nod, Saptarishis, this came into Ratnakara, especially after having the realization of it by speaking to his family. So now Ratnakara, he went back to Nod and he spoke. Absolutely, you were correct. Now I understand. Now even I've given up the attachment to family and all these things, and I want to make a change to my life. But how can someone change from such a condition? My condition now is already accomplished. How many animals I killed as a hunter? How many people I robbed as a daikoi? How many people I offended just by the nature of being a hunter and a daikoi? What can I do now? Is there any means by which I can be delivered from this condition? So Narada Muni told what? Yes. There's one very powerful methodology that can save anyone from anything. Vaikuntanamo Sesha Haga Haram Vidu. No matter how many sins you commit, right? Vaikuntanam can deliver you from all of those sins. And among all of the different names of Bhagavan, one name is especially powerful for this purpose. What name is that? Ram Nam. So he said, simply by chanting this Ram Nam, you can be delivered from all these things. So Ratnakar said, yes, I very much want to take this process. It seems also very easy. And having your asibad, your blessing, I feel also strong that I could do this. Then he began to think, but in any jiva, they will be plagued by vikshepa. What is vikshepa? Vikshepa means distraction. How will vikshepa come? From the impression from so many lifetimes. Every jiva in this world has been here from anadikal. Anadi avidya yukta shah purusham veda atmanam. Right? Every 11th canto Bhagavatam says, every jiva has been in this world since time without beginning. And he's been yukta, mean connected to ignorance from time without beginning. Therefore, he cannot deliver himself. Swato na bhavati anya. Therefore, you cannot deliver yourself. Because even if you try to sit down and do something, distractions from the impressions of all the previous lives will come to haunt you. He says, how would it be possible? Srinarji, Saptarishis, if you stay here, in your association it would be very easy. Simply looking at you. I can easily chant this Nam. He had not mentioned the word Ram yet. I can easily chant this Nam you mentioned. Yeah, but we're traveling all over the world. We don't even have a visa for this place. We're simply coming in and out and going different places. So we cannot stay here. So he says, how will I then be able to chant? You will have to take from the impressions that you have developed, and you'll have to use those impressions to help you to take this Nam. So two things you are very familiar with. One is, Mara in Sanskrit also means what? Death. Mara, believe it or not, in some South Indian language also refers to trees. So you've lived among the trees, and you've certainly lived a life where you've seen so much death. Sitting in front of any tree, they picked out one banyan tree, and meditating, repeat, Mara, 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 Rama, Ram, and gradually it will turn to Nam. So now the question could come, how is that possible? So that means if Srila Prabhupada had come to America and said, chant Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca, eventually it would turn to Krishna? Sankyat Parihasyam Vastovam Helanam Va. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam that even if the syllables of Nam are placed in different orders, still the efficacy, the benefit of Nam is there. You understand what I'm saying? Like Srila Prabhupada used to give the example that in Islam, if something very bad happens, they will say Haram. Understand? So what two syllables are there? Ha, like in Hare or Hara, and Ra, like in Ram. Understand? So here, same thing. Mara, if you reverse it, it is Rama. Who did this actually as a tactic? Does anybody remember who in Ramayana did this? I cannot go through whole Ramayana, not possible. Who used this very tactic? I'm giving a hint. In order to trick Ravan, who used this tactic? Gurudev told the story. No? Vibhishan. Vibhishan, once he came to the house, Ravan came to his house. Because Ravan was complaining. So many things are happening. This, Ram, so many things going on. I have to find a way. And as he was sitting there, he looked along the walls of the house of Vibhishan and what was written there. He had written all Ram, 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 Ram. Right? He had written the names of Ram. Right? But he had written them in such a way to cover every space on the wall, they were actually touching. So Ram, 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 touching like this. So, and Ravan was not uneducated. very high class of scholar. Like most demons, like Hiranyakasipu also, very high class of scholar. Ravan.
He was a Brahmin.
He was Brahmin, yeah, what Brahmin family.
Brahmin family.
So, but he was born a demon, Kakisa.
Absolutely.
So,
he had Brahmin thread though. I don't know
yeah.
what he was chanting, but
No,
he had
also there's history like that.
and he also worshipped Lord Shiva.
You also worship Lord Shiva, like Hiranyakasipu also worship. Demons also do puja, but for their own reasons. Anyway, he's sitting there and he begins to see. Rama, 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 Rama. Are you my brother but my enemy? And then as he becomes a little excited, Vibhishan is very intelligent. No, calm down. You've read wrong, my brother. Right? Read again. Right? You started reading from here, but if you read from here, and then if he reads from the second letters going, what will it be? Mara, 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 Mara. You understand? So Vibhishan himself used this trick. So Nard told him, you should, yourself, chant Mara, Mara. Of course, by that it became Ram, 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 Ram. While Ratnakara was chanting, he became so absorbed, right, with faith in the instruction of sadhus, that as he began to chant, he lost connection with his physical body. In the course of time, wood grew over his body, and when wood grew over his body, ants came, then a hill formed. That hill is called Valmikam, right? So this hill formed called Valmikam. In South India, and even in some Sanskrit, even in some Puranas, it's mentioned that Valmikams or anthills, they're like the ears of Mother Earth. You understand? They're like the ears of Mother Earth, right? So this Valmikam covered him, right? And then Brahma came, being pleased with the depth of his austerity. Some people say Narada Rishi came back. Others, Kanapurana says Brahmaji came. Brahma taking water from his kamandalu, sprinkled some water. Immediately that hill disappeared, and he was reborn as now. That person who comes from Valmikam, his name is Valmiki. Understand? So now he was Valmiki. So now in the association of Nard, right? Brahma disappears, and Nard is there, and he asks to Nard, look, can you answer me one question? I've had your association. I've understood now that my life's work is to worship that person who is the greatest person of all. By chanting Ram Nam, I've had some understanding who is that person. But what I'm asking you is if you can tell me clearly who that person is. What I've realized is that that person whom I should worship, he must have qualities which make him equal to what I've realized. So he called out 16 different qualities. So he begins his verse. Tapaha swadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam naradam pariprapchaha valmiki muni pungavan. So he starts off with this verse and he says, please tell me, O Narad. And he gives so many wonderful descriptions of Nard. That by his tapasya swadhyaya means by self-study. Like if you study in the morning Srimad Bhagavatam, this is called Shwadhyaya. Right? So he says, oh, your tapasya, and here the word tapasya doesn't just mean austerities. Like when Brahma heard the two syllables, when he was looking, searching out his existence in the lotus stem, and he heard the two syllables tapa, what does a lake in the freezing winter? This is not the real meaning of tapa. What does tapa really mean? Huh?
To do something.
Austerity.
Austerity is general meaning, but what is the real meaning? To do austerities, what must you yourself do? Give up your independence. Surrender. You understand? Because you're doing something you would not want to do, so you're surrendering your own desire in pursuit of a higher desire.
Yes.
Therefore, you have to do some saranagati. So tapa actually means saranagati. Brahma did saranagati, and by his saranagati, following the instructions in Divya Saraswati comes, etc., etc. So similarly, describing Narada, he did so much tapa, right? He did so much realization, surrender everything, that now Shwadhyaya, he's realized so many things about the absolute truth. Therefore, he's a fit person to inquire about who is the person whom I can find who has all the 16 qualities of a Mahapurush, right? Then he says, Kanu asmin tu, oh, excuse me. Kanu asmin sampraptam loke gunabhan kahacha vigyanyam dharma jaha chak akritagya satchavapya drilavrataha. So now he starts naming some of the qualities. He says, but here's the real thing. Ashmin in this world, Prathamam now. Who's in the planet right now who has these qualities? So what does that tell us? That Valmiki and Ram were living simultaneously. You understand? They were in the same time period. And this is going to be interesting because later on it's going to come up because Valmiki is going to say Ram's part, most of his part of his life has already happened. Right? So now I have to go back and describe from the very beginning because there's 7 kandas in Ramayana: Balakan, Ayodhyakan, Aranyakan, Kishkindakan, Sundarakan, Yudakan, and Uttarakan. Uttarakan is the last part, and like I mentioned in the beginning, most people, right, most common hearers of Ramayana, they don't speak Uttarakan. Why is that?
They don't believe in it or something?
No,
The story is over?
no.
No.
What's in Uttarakhand?
Does she think it's Spanish?
Huh?
Does she think it's Spanish?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So people want to hear, like in Ramcharit Manas, it's up to the return to Ayodhya. Understand? So now he starts to enumerate 16 different qualities. What are those 16 qualities? Who is Vigyan? First Viryam. Viryam means who has courage. Not only courage, having, but who is willing to display their courage. Is Ramachandra Bhagavan in his Leela full of Viryam, courage? I'm giving one example. Sita Devi, when she wanted to go to the forest with Lord Ram in the very beginning, Lord Ram wasn't having it. Said, no. This is my burden to have. You understand? Ultimately, he knew Sita would come, but he was saying, this is my burden to have. I've also taken you from your father, Janak Maharaj. How did I find you in the house of Janak Maharaj? Did I find you living in bark and trees? Did I find you sleeping on leaves and flowers? I found you there in the greatest opulence, surrounded by the most beautiful things. How will I be called a righteous husband and a righteous king that I've taken you from the opulence of your father's house and now I'm putting you in this condition? It can never happen. But you didn't know Sita. Right? Women of that time were, even nowadays, what to speak of that time, right? We didn't need a woman's equal rights liberation movement. You only need to read history. You understand? Just read history. How did Kaikeyi put herself in a position to get 2 boons from Dasaratha? Yes. If I'm going, like sometimes in my former profession, I had to do some very dangerous things. If I had called my wife, sweetie, yes, we're about to do a drug raid. Would you mind coming along? You understand?
No.
But here, Kaikeyi voluntarily, when Dasaratha went to Indralok to fight on behalf of the demigods, she voluntarily went. And when Dasaratha got into difficulty, she herself, 2 stories are told, right? One story is that the wheel of Dasaratha's chariot came on, she jumped down and herself became the extra wheel. One story is that the wheel was broken and she put her own finger inside to make an axle for that wheel to go. In this way, she saved the life of Dasaratha by removing him from the battlefield. Right? So in the urban communities, there was a saying, ride or die. Chicks, right? This is the epitome of that saying in real life. But more classy. You understand? This is real meaning. You understand? So what to speak? So Sita said, Ram. Purusha Rupam Stri Swarupam. You understand? Purusha Rupam, but Stri Swarupam. Externally, you're speaking like a king, like a man. But internally, you're acting like a woman. You understand? Because if you were truly brave and powerful and everything else, what would be your worry about taking me to the forest? You're making so many excuses why you don't want to take me, right? But a wife's duty is to be with her husband through thick and thin. It doesn't happen nowadays, always in the world, right? Go broke or something or anything else. Or do something wrong, make some mistake, vice versa also, right? You marry someone and they will Miss Universe. Of course, 20 years later, they may be Miss your living room. You understand? Right? That time, all kind of doubts come in your mind. Should I stay? All right? I'm joking. I'm talking about materialists, not devotees, right? So, like this, Sita saying, what is the duty of any wife? Would you have any second? Okay, yeah, let's stay there. Right? Any wife's duty is to be with a husband through thick and thin, not just in good times. So when I married you, when you took me from the house of my father, I didn't only agree to come to live in the opulence of Ayodhya. In Matila, we also had opulence. In the palace of Janak Maharaj, I didn't come only to live with you for that. I came because I wanted to be with Sri Ram. Through thick or thin. Ram never forgot that chastisement. Purusha Rupam Stri Swarupam. So when Ram was in the forest, and the 14,000 army of 14,000 Rakshasas attacked, and Ram defeated those 13,999. I'll get to that in a minute. Not 14,000, 13,399. Right? After defeating them, right, Sita was so amazed, right, because Ram had all the symptoms of battle, right? He had all the symptoms of battle on his body. So Sita was at the top of one hill. And as soon as it was over, Lakshmana allowed her to go because she was just dying out to embrace Ram. So she began running downhill to embrace Ram. And Ram turned around. And Ram then looked at her and said, Drisharupam. Now look at this roop, right? In other words, how you like me now? That's the equivalent. How you like me now, right? Right? All the cuts and bruises, everything, defeating for now. How you like me, right? So Sita ran, and then Sita embraced Ram. So some of the commentators on Ramayana said there was a special meaning behind this. What was the special meaning? Special meaning is that all of the healing potencies of any herb, medicine, or anything else, their healing property comes from the potency of Bhagavan. The potency of Bhagavan is his Shakti. You understand? So what's embedded in the medicine? Bhagavan Shakti. You understand? So Sita Devi herself is the personification of Bhagavan Shakti. So when she went and she embraced the Lord, there was no need of any medical herbs or anything else. Simply by her embrace and her touch, she healed the entire body of Lord Ram after he had fought with 14,000 Rakshasas. Where else do we hear something like this? What did Srimati Radhika do for Krishna when he wanted to have her form and mood? She completely embraced him, and for this reason he has Gora Roop. You understand? In this way she protected him. Therefore when Mahaprabhu was jumping up and down at Rath Yatra and crashing to the ground, in the Gambhira, when Mahaprabhu would rub his face against the wall due to extreme separation, what was protecting him all of those times? Radharani, because her very touch itself is the potency of all healing herbs everywhere. You understand? So, now Valmiki, having heard from Narada Muni the glories of Ram, he told him, you should sit down and you should meditate on this. Right? Then, Valmiki said, yes, I'll go back to my ashram, and in my ashram, I will go and I will meditate on this and I will realize it. How, I don't know. But I'll do it. So as he was heading back to his ashram, he saw one tree. And in that tree there were two karuncha birds. These two birds were there and they were affectionately embraced. Right? Like the beginning of their intimacy. Right? Seeing those two birds and seeing that tree, even though he had seen thousands of trees and thousands of forest-dwelling animals, he somehow became enraptured. He began to stare at that tree and he was looking at the birds. Not one iota of lust can enter the heart of Sri Valmiki. He's already completely realized something, so no lust can enter. But he was amazed by the tree and by these birds. So then he was thinking, what is this that is so wonderful about this scene? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, one arrow comes. That male bird is struck by the arrow and falls down to the ground. Immediately that female bird lets loose a very piteous cry. And the body posture where she's about herself to fall from that tree. Seeing this scene and seeing very nearby one hunter, one sort of visceral emotion came into Valmiki. Valmiki at that time uttered one shlok. Manishara pratishtam tava agama shashva bhakti sama yat karuncha maitunari ekam avadi kama mohitam. He said, just as these two birds were about in the beginning, maituna means like mating, you came, and nishada is another word for hunter, right? You look up in second canto Bhagavatam, it describes various classes of people. Nishada means hunter. You can look up the story of Maharaj Prithu and Vena and Churning and all these. So nishada is one hunter category. This is Aman Nishada. Oh Nishada, what have you done? I'm giving you a curse that you will never experience any fame or glory or anything, that you'll spend your whole life in infamy for this action, and that you yourself, if you ever are to meet with your beloved, at that time also, your life will be destroyed.
Oh. Was that
Almost like the curse with, who's Pandu?
Yeah,
You understand?
Right.
But now he thought, wait a minute, after doing so much tapasya austerities, after doing Ram Nam for so many years, I could become so angry over something that's natural, because in the forest, hunters hunt. You understand? I myself, in the former life, this was my life. How is it that I could become overcome by anger? So we had one disciple, Bharadwaj, very dear disciple of Valmiki. So how can I become overcome? So sitting in the ashram, he was reciting over again, Mani Shada, Mani Shada. Right? The feeling that came in his heart was called shoka. Shoka means like a sadness. Right? But that shoka, all of the commentators of Ramayana says, that shoka itself turned into the shloka Mani Shada. You understand? Because it was perfectly formed. The shloka's made of certain syllables in a certain order. So his shoka, his unhappiness, gave birth to the perfectly formed shloka. Right? So he says, for what purpose would this be? At that time, Brahmaji, Skanda Purana says not Brahmaji alone, but Naradaji. Not Naradaji and Brahmaji alone, but also Saraswati and Savitri, wives of Brahma. They came to the ashram of Valmiki. Brahmaji said, it was no accident the scene that you saw. It was no accident that your heart immediately became attracted to this scene. I myself took the form of that tree. That Karuncha bird, he was destined to die. Why? I told that when Ram fought the Rakshasas, 14,000, he killed 13,999. How many does that leave? One. Akampana was one of those 14,000 Rakshasas. When he saw the other 13,999 get slain by the expertise and power of Lord Ram, he looked around, grabbed the piece of cloth, put it on like a sari, and danced his way out of that battlefield. Understand? At that time, Akampana, he ran back to Ravan, right? And Ravan, he was hearing all of the news from Ravan. At the same time, Shurpanakha had also showed up to tell what happened, right? Because this is how everything starts. Shurpanakha comes, she sees Ram and the beauty of Ram. She sees the beauty of Ram and wants to marry him. And they're giving her back and forth. No, you should marry Lakshman. He's unmarried. I've only married one wife in this lifetime, etc. Then she attacks Sita. Then she's deformed, right? Nose and ears are cut off, right? Why did Lakshman cut the nose and ears?
She's a woman.
She was married.
He couldn't kill her.
One, so she wouldn't marry anyone else. Another thing is that you cannot see your deformity yourself, only if you look in the mirror. You understand?
Also because she's a woman, that's why.
Also because she's a woman.
That's why.
Also because in this way, her desire could be fulfilled, because nobody will marry in that life, and in the next life she will become not Krishna's wife. She'll become Kubja. Understand? She'll become Kubja and Krishna will fulfill her desire, lusty desire.
Also in Indian culture, if they say not katwadi, so that
Mhm.
means like if you cut the nose off somebody, you've taken their dignity.
Yes.
It's completely
Yes.
disgraced.
And that's right. And commentators also said he cut the ear because she could not hear the instruction of Ram. So this was also a lesson. What happens if you don't listen? You understand? Okay. So now this accompanier, he comes back to Ram and he's telling the whole story about how this person Ram, who you've heard about, right? How he wiped out 13,999 Rakshasas with ease. Right? So Ravana is hearing about this. But at the same time, Shurpanakha comes back. She's telling her brother, what is she telling him? Listen, yes. He said, yes. What the company is saying may be there, may not important. But my brother, look what happened to me. And you know how this happened? Because I was thinking of you. In that very ashram, there was one woman. Her beauty cannot be compared to anyone. I thought in my heart, out of love for my brother, I only wanted to bring this one. You're deserving. You're not ordinary mortal person like this king she was with in the forest. What kind of king is it anyway that he's living in the forest? Right? She's only deserving of being with a true king, like Lanka. You understand? There's a long story how Ravana went back to Lanka.
Right there.
Hmm?
She sparked his lust right there.
Right? So, yeah, exactly. So now, absorbed in meditating on, lustfully on Sita, right? Whatever Akampana is talking about, he can't hear. So Akampana thought, look, I have to save my life. Right? I know Ram will not leave the duty unfinished. I transcribed all of this to describe the quality that he asked about, Viryam. Right? So I know he will not leave a job unfinished. So that time he said, I'm asking Ravan for a blessing, give me some mystic power. With that mystic power, he turned himself into a Karuntra bird, married another Karuntra bird to live happily ever after. Understand? But it didn't work out. Right? So Brahmaji now is telling Valmiki, I was the tree, that bird was that accompanier. He married one female bird, that's why she was unharmed. Who was the hunter?
Ram.
Sri Ram himself. You understand? So now Valmiki was perplexed also. He said, wait a minute. I'm asking a person who has 16 qualities, right? And you're telling me that person is Ramchandra, and you have described that he's Viryam, he fought with 14,000 Rakshasas, but I've also asked, what kind of person is also Kritagya? Kritagya means grateful. Right? Kritagya means grateful. I'm asking, what kind of person is a very grateful person? You're telling me that he's so passionate, so ungrateful, right? That even after satisfying the defense of his ashram and his wife and his brother, he still has to hunt this person down to kill him? He's not grateful that at least he was saved from the circumstance, everything? This comes into Valmiki's mind?
Sure.
He's having this doubt now? He said, no. You don't understand. Ram is so grateful. Then he tells a story of Kutasta. Kutasta is the son of Indra. Once, Dasarat Maharaj had gone to fight in the heavenly planets, I told before. He would be recruited many times. One time also, while he was fighting, again his chariot was dismantled. At that time, Indra, because Indra, I'm a fighter, I'm a lover, not a fighter, he was watching, but he said, I can help. So Indra, he became a bull. The hump of the bull is called Kuta. Right? So he, not like the dog, that's the Kut is the dog. Right? Right. So not like that. So he came and Dasarat stood on the hump of that bull and defeated, fighting on the hump of that bull, all the different demons that were attacking the heavenly planets. Right? So he was called Kutasta because he established himself on the hump of that bull and fought. Once while they were in the forest, the son of Indra took the form of a bird. That bird came down and seeing Sita and Ram there, that bird came down and pecked Sita. When he pecked Sita, some blood began to run. When that blood began to run, Sita did not want to disturb Ram, who was resting on her lap, but she couldn't help it. She began to tremble. Right? So Ram woke and looked. He saw the blood dripping on Sita. He immediately looked around everywhere, thinking, is any demon coming, anything? He looked in the tree, and he saw Kutastha, the son of Indra, there.
Wow.
You understand? Immediately Ram gave such a look that Kutastha thought, he's going to burn me alive. So then Kutastha, he did Anjali like this, and he got prepared to give up his body. At that time, he became so bewildered, and he fainted. When he fainted, Sri Ram caught him. And Sri Ram put him down. And then he couldn't believe it. He thought, oh, I must have already died. I must have already gone to heaven. Because my landing wasn't very hard. Right? I must have already died, gone to heaven. Right? Because when he fell, Ram caught him. He felt the beauty, softness of Ram's palms, everything. Oh, I've already gone to heaven. So Ram put him down. And then he opened his eyes and saw the beauty of Lord Ram. Oh, not heaven. Not back in Swarga. I've gone to where? Vaikuntham, right there, Vaikuntham. Right? I've attained. So then Ram spoke, because then he saw Sita, he saw the blood, now everything was real. He's back, right? So then he tells him, listen, I should kill you, but I am not akritagya. Akritagya means ungrateful. Right? I am not ungrateful. I remember that my father, when he went to fight in the heavenly planets, and he was in peril, your father came and became the chariot, the holder for my father to fight. I have never forgotten this favor. Out of love for my father, Sita has asked me to forgive you, and I am forgiving you. So then Brahma tells him, no, Sri Ram is not the Kritagya. He is Kritagya. But another thing that he has is Dridhavrata. Dridhavrata means one who is determined to fulfill a vow. If you make a vow to do something, it means you do it till it's completed. He vowed to Vishwamitra Muni that he would clear the forest of Dandakaranya of all the Rakshasas and evil elements. So if he had left hidden that accompana, would he have completed his vow?
No.
No. So in this way, Brahmaji goes through all 16 qualities and proves of Valmiki. Nard is telling in the presence of Brahma all of these things of Valmiki and proving how Ram has all these 16 qualities. Understand?
Do you have a list of the qualities?
Yes, I'll read them off. Viryava means courage. Kritagya means grateful. Satyavrata means truthful, always truthful. Dridhavrata means I just explained. Charita means always has a great character. And Charita is mentioned twice. In the shloka say Charita, Charita. Why? Because he's saying not only do others see character in him, but he's not duplicitous. So he doesn't show character in front of people and then behind what he doesn't have it. So his charita, his character, is both shown to others and is also possessed by him. You understand why he's saying that?
Yeah.
Because you can show character in front of some people and then behind closed doors, not. Then he says, Vidban. Vidban means who's learned, realized. Sarvabhuta, who's kind to all. Samartha. Samartha means one who understands everything and one who can accomplish everything. Priyadashanaha. Priyadashanaha means who's pleasing to look at. Atmavan, one who's mastered himself, right? Itakroda, one who's conquered anger. Dutiman, one who has, duty means like an effulgence. Remember we were talking about the different effulgence coming from the hunters and from the rishis? So he says he's Dutiman, right? His natural beauty, effulgence, right? And character all shine through him. So he's Dutiman.
What's
Right?
his actual color, Rob? Is it orange?
It's
I mean,
no, it
everything
describes
green?
like, you see depicted everything green.
Greenish.
But it's a very dark color. It's like, it's transcendental. Who can describe that kind of beauty? It's like a dark green, yeah.
Dark green.
Yeah. So in this way he describes 16 qualities, right? So now Valmiki was perplexed again. I'll try to wrap up here. I'm sorry I was going so late. I didn't realize I was getting late. Right? So now Valmiki is perplexed again. He says, look, you've described that this person whom I cursed, Manishala, that person that I cursed was actually the very person you're telling me is Bhagavan who has these qualities. So now I'm even more in dilemma. What shall I do? Brahma said, no. Trying to understand. You simply emoted when you saw something. This is very natural. Remember when Shishupal gave 100 criticisms to Krishna?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How did Krishna hear those 100 criticisms? As compliments. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad in his Tika Saratadasini, he showed how in Sanskrit, my Sanskrit is not good, but he showed in Sanskrit how all of them by rearrangement, how they became compliments. So similarly here, Brahma told, and many commentators on Ramayana told, it was not a curse. This was inspired in your heart by Ramachandra himself, so that you could do Ramayana. So he says, Ma Nishada. What is the meaning here? Not Om Nishada, but Ma Nishada. Here he says it means, Ma means Lakshmi Devi or Sri or Sita Devi. Nishadha means who eternally resides in the association of Sri Ram. Or Lakshmi, who always resides on the chest of Narayan. May you always be glorified. By saying that you will always not be glorified is saying there's no one who by their own intelligence, own means can glorify you. Therefore, by your own glories may you always be glorified. But what about the last part? May you at the time of your being together with your beloved, may you be separated. Said, no, this was not a curse. This was directly the desire of Sri Ramachandra himself and Sita Devi. Why? So now some Ram Tattva. To realize Ramayana, you have to accept mantra. Mantra Diksha. In Srimad Bhagavatam, mantra Diksha is also present there. Of course, we directly take from Guru. But how is mantra present in Srimad Bhagavatam? What mantra is present there? Gayatri Bhasha Ruposo. When it describes the glories of Bhagavatam, it mentions Gayatri Bhasha Ruposo. The very form of Gayatri is there, even in the first verse. Satyam Parama Dhimahi. You understand? So Gayatri is the way we become enlightened. Is Gayatri in Ramayana?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
When Brahmaji showed up with Saraswati and Savitri, Brahma told, look Valmiki, don't worry. I will inspire everything in you to write this Ramayana. After that, Saraswati told, don't worry. The end of your pen that you're writing with, it will always be blessed by me. So you will write continuously in a flow. There'll be no worry that you won't complete it. Savitri told, I myself am Gayatri and I'm composed of 24 letters. Count Gayatri, 24 and a half. Huh? I heard your mind. Right? He said, Gayatri, I'm composed of 24 different letters. I myself will manifest in that Ramayana. How? The first verse of every 1,000 verses, one of my akshar will be there. 24,000 verses, so the very first verse, then 2,001st verse, 3,001st verse, all the way to 24,000, the first verse will have one letter of Gayatri mantra. When you bring them all together and unscramble them, you'll have Gayatri. You understand?
Wow.
So in this way, as you're reading Ramayana, right, the very power of the revelation of Gayatri is also there. So now Valmiki, he could begin his commentation, or his writing rather, of Sri Ramayana. So Ramayana is too long to tell as story. Like I mentioned, 7 different things. Balakanda, so many pastimes took place in so many different ways. So we'll only conclude very shortly by speaking some Ram Tattva. Why the incarnation of Lord Ram? First of all, there are many incarnations of Bhagavan. But in Brahma Samhita, Brahma wrote himself, Ramadi Murteshu Kala Niyamena Tista Nanavatam Akaro Bhuvanesha Kintu. Krishna Swayam, Krishna, huh? Krishna Samavat Paramam Pamanyo Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. He says, I have unlimited incarnations. Adi means beginning with whom? Ram. You understand? So, if you read Lagu Bhagavatam, Litla Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, there he's described all the various incarnations right in the beginning. Guna avatars, Man avatars, Leela avatars. And he describes Paravasta avatars. Paravasta avatars are three. Sri Krishna Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Narasimha, and Sri Ramachandra. What does Paravasta avatar mean? It means where the full potency of Bhagavan is established. In the Leela avatars, they are also Bhagavan. But Bhagavan gives potency according to that Leela. It's not like Shaktavesh avatar like Parashuram. But Bhagavan gives according to that Leela. But in Narasimha and in Ramachandra, the fullness of his potency is manifest there. Therefore, they are called Paravasta avatar. Why Ramachandra's Leela is so important?
Who? Just those two?
Those two are called Paravasta avatars.
Just Krishna
And Ramachandra. If you look, even in Das Avatar Stotru, right? All the various incarnations coming from Matsya all the way to Ramachandra Bhagavan, there's an unfoldment of rasa. You understand? When you get to Nrsimha Bhagavan, what rasa is introduced? Vatsalya rasa is introduced. And if you look at Rupa Goswami Pad, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he mentions that the Murti, the deity of Vatsalya rasa is Narasimha Dev. Understand? I can't explain this whole thing here right now. It's not meaning like Narasimha Dev is like Mother Yashoda or like, it's not like that. Different
What's
thing.
the next after that?
After that, all of the avatars unfold, and then in Sri Ram Leela, there are 2.5 rasas which are prominent, but the seeds of 5 rasa are there. You understand? What 2.5 rasas are prominent in Ram Leela? Dasya. From the time of Narasimha Bhagavan, the Lord promised, I will never come to this world again by coming from anyone's nose, coming out of any kind of pillars, none of that kind of stuff anymore. When I come to the world from now on, after feeling the emotions of Prahlad and how kind he was to his father, though his father's pure devotee, but acting like a Danav, acting like a demon, I only want to also have mother and father. From that time on, he had mother and father. In Ram Leela, how many mothers and fathers does he have? He has one father, Dasarat, who's like the
3
fathers,
mothers.
but 3 mothers, because they all treated like their own sons. Understand? So Vatsalya Rasa, right? Vatsalya Rasa, Dasya Rasa, and Sakya Rasa, 1/2. Why 1/2? Because there are 2 kinds of Sakya Rasa. One is called Visramba Sakya Rasa, which is in Braj, Subal, Sridham, Madhu Mangal, they are pretty Namasaka, but all the Sakas have Visramba Sakya Rasa. Means they don't consider Krishna Bhagavan. He's just like us. In fact, Sri Ram tells him, look, you're not a big deal here. Right? Your father's got some cows. Calm down. Right? Your father's not the only one with cows in Braj. My father's even got more cows. And I know you like my sister. You know, keep yourself under control. Right? So they have this kind of relationship. You understand? Gaurava Sakya Ras means Sakya Ras where there's some acknowledgement of the Aishwarya of Bhagavan. Like Arjun. Right? Like Babishan. Right? So, Gaurava Sakya Ras means understanding he is Bhagavan but having some friendly relationship. You understand? So, pure Dasa Ras is there in Ram Leela with Hanuman, Vatsalya Ras is there, and we've seen Gaurava Sakya Ras like with Babishan.
That would be the same as like Arjun.
Arjun?
With
Similar.
Hanuman?
Hanuman is pure Dasa Ras.
More than Arjun.
No, pure Dasa Ras, not more.
Yeah.
We had Bhagavatam Gita, this whole breakdown is given in. Now, the seeds of all 5 rasa are there. How are the seeds of the 5 rasas there? Because Ram Leela is the prequel. You know, there's a prequel and a sequel. The prequel of Krishna Leela is Ram Leela. All Dharma is fully accomplished in Ram Leela. Dasarat married 360 wives, some places written 350 wives. Why? Hearing that Parashuram was still going around and destroying all the Kshatriya dynasties, then he was wondering, how will I avoid having to deal with this guy. He's like on a mission, right? He's not being rational at all. He's not distinguishing. Then Vashishta she told one thing. He's made a promise that any king who is newly married, he will not be attacked. He will give you a certain period of time to celebrate the newness of your marriage. Therefore, he kept marrying one after another, in order to every year. Boy, I'm still celebrating my honeymoon. You understand? So in this way, Parashuram never attacked. But Ramachandra, he had no fear of this Parashuram. After Sita Swayambha, he was coming back to Ayodhya, he ran into Parashuram. Parashuram started making a whole thing about him breaking the bow and all that. So then Ram, right, he challenged Parashuram there, and what did he do?
Break it.
Nope. The main thing. So many things. He
Oh,
already
yeah.
broken the Shiva Dhanam.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you've come here for a certain mission, and you're delegated to do that mission by my power.
Right.
Therefore, you are Shaktyavesh.
No, but he was tested.
He
first.
tested, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he had to shoot arrows through the trees.
No, I mean, he actually.
He tested him.
Lord Vishnu's
Bow.
bow.
He told him to test, so he passed that test.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting to is that he took the Shakti away from Parashuram.
Okay, yeah.
And that's when Parashuram then went to Kurukshetra, made the 5 lakes, did all these
Well,
things.
once he saw him with the bow.
Yeah, you
that
realize.
was it. I mean, that was
Took his power away from him, that's it.
Yeah.
But Ramchandra said only Ek Patni Brata. Why? Deep meaning here. If you will marry more than one wife, how will your affections be? Divided. You understand? Therefore, whenever there's separation, can you truly have the same amount of separation if you're married to 5, 10, 15, 20, 360 wives, and one wife goes, or you're away from one wife, right? Can you truly feel separation? No. Other wives will also console you. You understand? This is the uniqueness about Krishna Lila. Krishna Lila is so, what is the nature of Radhika's glory? Krishna, while living in Dwarka, had 16,000. Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ju Ki Jai. Krishna had 16,108 wives. And these 16,108 wives were of the highest quality. Still, Krishna suffered daily due to separation. Because all 16,108 put together, right, they could not compare even to one gopi of Braj. What to speak of Srimati Radhika. This is the power of Braj and Radhika. But Ram took one wife, Sita. Why? One, he wanted to experience what is the mood of separation. What is Vanvas? This is why I told in the very beginning, he asked Mother Kaikeyi to do what? Banish him to the forest. Did they enjoy the forest?
Yeah.
Yes. Chitrakoot. All the beautiful ashrams they went to. Right? And then after Sita's proclamation to him, like more or less in shorthand, be a man. Right? Right? He took Sita along with him, and he took Lakshman with him. Therefore he had friendship, and he had his companionship with him, his wife. Right? So they completely enjoyed the forest. Right? So Vanvas, and when Sita is kidnapped, who arranged that kidnapping?
Okay.
Ramchandra himself. Ramchandra himself. He knew what happened with Marichi. Even Marichi, when Ram first went to the forest with Vishwamitra Muni, right? Vishwamitra got ready to perform a yajna. One demoness, Taraka, came, and she has 2 sons, Subahu and Marichi. Their 2 sons came with her. Ram vanquished them, but what did he do to Marichi? He hit Marichi with one weapon, and Marichi went all the way from North India all the way to South India.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
1,000 miles.
800, some people say 1,000 miles. What did he do when he got there? He had some realization. He took sannyas. You understand? Really? Skanda Purana is mentioning, right? He took sannyas. He said, no more. I'm done with this. Don't invite me to anything. Don't get me caught up in anything anymore, anything like that.
He told Robin
Right?
too, like, I'm
Now, that arrangement by Ramachandra, right, because Marichi had so many different powers, became the catalyst. After Ram heard about Sita and wanted to kidnap her, whom did he go to for advice how to kidnap Sita? Marichi. So he goes to Marichi and he's asking me, oh, how can I accomplish this thing, this and that? and he's thinking of ideas. And Marie's just trying to tell him, I wouldn't get involved in that if I was you. Look, let me tell you something. I've already been there, done that. I've got the t-shirt, everything, right? I've already experienced what Ram can do. My advice to you is leave it alone, right? First, you have such a wonderful wife in Mandadari, right? Why are you even doing this? Secondly, there are also many maidservants in that kingdom there in Lanka, right? Why do this? I wouldn't get involved. So he said, no, I want advice from you. I didn't come here to hear a lecture, so forth, so on, so on. So he says, look, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else. He says, yes, if you don't help me, you will have problems.
They'll kill you. They
Yeah.
kill him.
So then he told, all right, what should we do? He didn't want to give the plan himself. So then he says, look, I've got a great idea. You have the ability to change shapes and all of that. Living in the forest, I know that Sita herself will be very enamored by the forest animals. You should make yourself one extraordinarily beautiful deer. But then how will I kidnap Sita? How will I get close? Who is the only people who can be accepted without question? No matter what they look like. Even Durvasa, if he comes to your home and knocks on your home, will you let him in or not?
Yeah.
Everybody will be afraid. The sadhu, sannyasi, sant is coming. You have to acknowledge. Even if they come unannounced, it's called a titi. A titi means a guest who's not planned. Like titi means a scheduled time. A titi means didn't come on any schedule, knock on the door, right? And sannyasis are more cautious nowadays because unfortunately it's Kali Yuga. People peek out from an hour. Oh, Maharaj. Right? Or if you go to get donations, not so much happen now. But now people coming collecting donation. Big Shamdei. Look, some people look out the window. Right? And there's people begging for alms, right? But in proper culture, anybody Sanskriti means proper culture, this thing won't happen, right? So he thought, oh, I should go as any sadhu. Looking at Marichi, yes, I'll go as a sannyasi. Then he told Marichi to become a deer. This is how the plot was hatched to kidnap Sita. You understand? Like this. So, but Ramachandra also knew all of Ramachandra's Shaktis are working, right? Including his Leela Shakti. That's why any temple you go to in South India, you'll see 3 Shaktis are always present there. What 3 Shaktis? Sri, Bu, Neela or Leela Shakti, always there, any temple you go to. So, Ramachandra knows why Leela Shakti is working, right? So what did Leela Shakti do? She made an arrangement with Agni Dev and Swaha, the wife of Agni Dev. Listen, this whole drama is going to take place. What I want you to do is Ram. Now in Valmiki Ramayan, Lakshman Rekha is not written there. This is the opinion of some scholars.
That Sita was someone else. That the one.
I'm coming there.
Yeah.
Right? So that is supposedly not written there. I've not read again all 24,000 verses. I'm saying what commentaries I've seen, it says not there. But I remember Gurudev saying, how many Ramayans are there?
24.
Not 24, thousands of them by bona fide sadhus. Right? So it may be written somewhere else, but even Gurudev said, I will see it in Valmiki Ramayana. That when Lakshman left Sita, he made one Rekha. Rekha means like a line,
Boundary, yeah.
a boundary.
Yes.
Right? In Valmiki Ramayana, there's one shlok there that directly says that he called on all of the Vanadevis and Vanvasis of that area to come and protect Sita. It was for this reason that Jatayu was nearby. Understand? Later on, this will come out because when Hanuman is talking to the brother of Jatayu, who's the brother of Jatayu? Sampadi. Right? I'm telling quickly one story. Sampadi and Jatayu were brothers. Right? So Sampadi was the older brother of Jatayu. One time they were together and they used to play. They used to fly towards the sun at great speed and then stop, come back. So once they were flying, they were going so fast, difficult to stop. And as they got closer, somebody realized they were both going to be burned and their wings would burn off. So somebody enveloped Jatayu like this. His own wings burned and he fell at Mahendragiri. And in this way, Jatayu was saved. So later on, when Hanuman and Sugriva and all were searching for Sita, they were there at Mahendragiri, they were sitting and they were talking about it, and they brought up the name Jatayu. Somebody heard it and he came there and said, have you mentioned the name Jatayu? And Hanuman says, yes, you look like you're from the same clan, your face, everything. He says, yes, that was my younger brother. And then he tells the story. He says, I lost my wings because I was protecting my younger brother. I'm now even saddened more to hear that he died. Then Hanuman tells an amazing thing. He says, you should not be sad, somebody. You should be so happy because he died in the savor of Lord Ram. Means he's directly obtained Ramachandra Bhagavan. Right? He says, well, tell me about Ram. What power he has that he could give liberation and moksha. Ram says, you don't know about Ram? Then Hanuman begins to recite Ramayana. Right? He begins reciting very beautiful the Sampadi Ramayana. And what happens while he's reciting it, Sampadi's wings start growing back. And then when Hanuman finishes, he says, now see and witness the power of simply giving Ram's name. Understand like this. So now, after the plan is hatched and Lakshman draws the line, at that time when Ravan comes, some commentators say he did not directly touch the body of Sita, right? Because of the prior curse. Everybody know the curse of Ravan?
Yeah.
Once he saw a very beautiful young girl, her name was Vedavati, right? Seeing this girl Vedavati from his airplane, he came down. That girl was born only to be the wife of Lord Vishnu. She was doing great austerities for this purpose. He came down, seeing her beauty, and inquired, who are you? She told her whole history, everything. He says, why you should wait on anyone for husband? I am here now. Simply step in my Biman, and I will fulfill all your desires. She told him, no, I am simply, my goal, everything is only to obtain Lord Vishnu. At that time, he said, what is this, Lord Vishnu? Come. And he grabbed her by the hair. Immediately, she cut her hair and her body came on fire from her tapasya, and she told, if you ever touch any woman again like this, your head will explode into millions of pieces and disappear. From that time, Ravan never again wanted to touch any woman. So some commentators say, when he came there to kidnap Sita, he took the whole ashram. Understand? He picked the ashram up wholesale, put it on his viman, and went to Lanka. Others say he grabbed by the hair and he grabbed by the thigh. What do those commentators say? How did he avoid the curse? If he grabbed by the hair and by the thigh and took her, how did he avoid the curse? So this proves the truth about the work of Purnamasi Devi. In Gopal Champa of Jiva Goswami, she mentions when she gives Pariksha a test to see who are the real gopis. I'm not telling this whole story, it's too long. When she tests, when Krishna comes back after killing Dantavakra, right, they test the gopis to see which gopis were the duplicates made by Purnamasi, which ones were the real ones. So they walk through the fire of Durvasha Muni's tapasya. So Purnamasi, first she told, I could do the fire test, I've done it before. Where had she done it before?
Somewhere else.
Sita Pariksha. Right? When Sita walked up, that Purnamasi arranged that whole thing. So what happened was when Lakshman drew that line, when Ravan tried to go through it, a fire came up. At that time, already pre-planned, Purnamasi Devi, Leela Shakti, takes Shrimati Sita Devi to the care of the wife of Agni Dev, Swaha, and replaces her with a Maya Sita.
Right.
Therefore, even if Ravan grabbed the hair and thigh of that Maya Sita, why didn't the curse take effect?
Oh, okay.
It's an illusion. It's not the real Sita. He did not touch a real woman.
It was someone, though.
It was illusion.
Chaya Sita.
Chaya Sita is illusion. You understand? Therefore, the curse did not take effect. You understand? So this different commentators giving different ideas like this. Right? So in this way, so many things are told in Ramayana is impossible to cover. But every time you think of something, you think of more things. But anyways, Dandavat Pranam Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki Jai Shri Ram Navami Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Balatirtha Goswami Maharaj Abhirvav Maha Mahotsav Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we have a little questions, and also many stalwart devotees in here. They may want to offer some quick clarification either of Srila Bhakti Balatirtha Goswami Maharaj or any antidotes of Sitaram or Ram Leela. You have a question now?
Just, you had said that all the qualities are in Ram and Nrsimha. What quality is missing from Ram and Sita that Krishna has? I mean, Ram and Nrsimha.
Krishna has 4 special qualities that no one has.
Those are the 4. Okay.
Yeah, those 4. But also, Jiva Goswami is written in one commentary. It's written in the Madhurya Kandamini, but it's a quote of Jiva Goswami. He's given a description of what is Bhagavan. Normally, what verse describes Bhagavan? Aishwarya Samya Grashya Virayasya Sri, like this. These are 6 opulences, and in full, right? Bhagavan contains these full opulences. Are all these full opulences there in Nrsimha Bhagavan? Yes. Are they there in Ramachandra? Yes. So how is Krishna different besides these 4 things? Asadharana, Bhagavatavat Asadharana, Asam Urdvam, Aishwarya Madhurya Tattva Visesh. There's one shlok is there. He says Krishna is unique because he's asadharana. Sadharana means ordinary, but here ordinary doesn't mean ordinary like we, ordinary. Forgive me, all you Vaishnavas are not ordinary. I'm trying to describe, it doesn't mean Bhagavan is ordinary like Jivas. In the category of Bhagavans, plural, right? All the different manifestations of Bhagavan, Krishna is asadharana. You understand? He's uncommon among all of them. And even those incarnations of Bhagavan, asama urdhvam, they cannot also even become equal to what the speak of exceed Krishna. In what? Aishwarya Madhurya Tattva Visesh. In the special way, the Visesh, the Vaishishta, in which he manages his Aishwarya and Madhurya. For instance, how does he manage his Aishwarya and Madhurya in a way no one else can? What is more opulent, Vaikuntha or Braj? What is the proof of this? Gopal Champu Jiva Goswami points out, when there was the lifting of Govardhan hill, Jiva Goswami says when Krishna lifted the hill, he told all Brajavasis, come under the hill. When they all came under the hill, what did they see? Dirt, roots, tree branches, right? Mud, snakes, bugs. Go in your backyard and lift up any tree branch, see what you see. Or turn over one rock. Yesterday, I'm not mentioning, I don't want to get into details here. We've had one snake come. I've seen only twice poisonous snakes in our house, right? Yesterday was one of those days. And he wasn't in the woods or anything. He's like sitting in our vestibule thing. Like just, kind of chilling out everything. So then, when I came outside and came around, he had moved, but he curled up on the little rocks near the bush, and he was just there chilling out and everything. But it was a cottonmouth. It's a poisonous snake, right?
What color was it?
My wife's got a picture of it, so you can go look at it later on. So anyway, I'm not getting into snake leela here. Yeah, leaving snake leela behind, right? So what was witnessed at Govardhan? That when Krishna lifted up Govardhan hill and the Brajavasis came under the hill, they saw beautiful gems and diamonds and emerald pillars and crystal staircases and waterfalls. So what's the purport of this? Underneath the dhuli, the dust of Vrindavan, are all gems. Therefore, when Brahma was saying Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kapam, he was talking about Braj. You understand? So all opulence is there in Braj. But the opulence of love is greater than the opulence of all of these things. Therefore, love covers all of these things with simplicity. Therefore, Krishna in Dwarka used to dress with crowns with gems in them. But in Braj, he used to dress with forest flowers, right? Vines, with the minerals from Govardhan. And this is how gopis described him in Venugit. You understand? What's that verse? Chuta Pravala Slovaka Uppalabja. Right? One verse is there. How he's decorated with lotus flowers and other things of Braj. And they consider this to be so beautiful that no kind of beauty can equal it. Lavanya Saram Asamudvam. That there is, Lavanya Saram means he's the essence of all beauty. No beauty can exceed this. Therefore, when they saw Krishna at Kurukshetra dressed as a king, then she said, what is this? Right? These bangle things are so heavy. Don't they hurt your arms? Right? You don't have a headache from wearing that thing, crown, all these jewels, everything? Right? We know you. Your body's very soft like butter. You're not pained by wearing all these things? And what need is there to wear those things? What benefit does it do for us? Ayi Dina Dayadranata Maturanata Karavalokshay, right? Madhavinda Puripad recited this thing, but it came from the heart of
The
Radhika.
gopis came, right?
To Kurukshetra, yes.
Came there. Did they actually come?
They actually came. Only some cowherd boys did not come. Because cowherd boys accept the spurti of Krishna, therefore they stayed behind to protect Raj. We're getting really, really
But have you covered the four qualities that separate, distinguish?
No, Venu Gi. No, Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Prem Parikar Madhuri, and Leela Madhuri. These four qualities. And the way that they mix, that's why Jiva Goswami Prabhupada said, Aishwarya Madhurya Tattva Visesh. How the truth of these two things mixing together, the Vashishta of that in Krishna is unique. It is asadharana even among other forms of Balaram. Understand? Raghupati Raghav Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram Raghupati Raghav Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jai Guru Bhar जय शिल भक्ति बलतीत गोस्वामी महाराज आविर्भाव महोत्सव की जय. So anybody said now there'll be some Pushpanjali and
Anyone would like to do the art now?
health issues. Who can do the arting?
To me? No.
Just sing me as a text. Who's singing? Huh? Back a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Can I do it? Who sing, please? How about Booty? That one, can you sing?
No. Sorry, bro. I'm not good at it. I don't have any practice. I can play my
Madonna. Yeah, play. Okay, we're done my back.
don't use the mic, you just see the mic when we were That's no.
गुरु गौरांग गंधर्व गिरिधारी राधा विनोदी हरि ज्योति श्री राधा गोविंद किशोर किशोरी मदन मोहन राधा दामोदर वृंदावन चंद्र की यशमतिनंदना यशमतिनंदना Jaya Yes, playing things. No, I know. Come on. Yes, ours is over. Okay, fine. At least Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. 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 Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Oh, you want to do the Jai
Goswami Maharaj, Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Vishnu Pada, Saraswati Shishima, Shri Bhagavata Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Vishnu Pada, Saraswati Shishima, Bhakti Daitya Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Vishnu Pada, Saraswati Shishima. Shri Bhakti Bhakyan Keshu Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Vishnu Pada, Saraswati Shishima, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada Ki Jai, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Mahabhagavat Shri Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Satyananda Shri Bhagavata Thakur Mahasaya Ki Jai, Shri Vishnu Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Gauri Vinanda Acharya Shri Baladevi Bhushan Prabhu Ki Jai, Rasik Shiromani Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Narottam Srinivas Ramananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda, Adi Shri Gaur Prasad Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Vaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Antadweep, Mayapur, Simanti Dweep, Gautrama Dweep, Madhya Dweep, Kola Dweep, Yuta Dweep, Jana Dweep, Madhya Dweep, Rudradeep Mahamika, Shri Navdeep Dhamma Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Govardhan Vidas Vanatmaka, Shri Vajramandala Ki Jai, Shri Radhakund Shamakund Ganga Jamuni Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shrimati Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasa Yogamaya Devi Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadevi Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarsan Chakraji Ki Jai, Sarva Vigna Vinashaya Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai, Bhakta Prahlad Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai, Charadam Chara Sampradaya Acharya Ki Jai, Akara Maharaj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Kesha Ji Gauri Mat Ki Jai, Rantaraj Shri Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitago Premanandi, Shri Ram Navami Ki Jai, Jai, Go Premanandi, Shri Rai Govinda Dev Ki Jai, Sachinanda Gohari Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Go.
Haribol Prasadam will be served outside, and please come back this evening for a glorification of Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Maharaj. His one and only Alachua disciple will be coming, Abhimanyu Prabhu. So we'll be having more Harikatha about Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Maharaj. That will be at 6 o'clock.
Happy birthday to Indupati.
Happy birthday!